Guys, I have one question. Can we go a week without Ubisoft ending up in another scenario where people are questioning their future? Like, what the actual hell are you doing over there, Eves? All right, I've been busy the last few days and I haven't had a chance to weigh in on this whole Ubisoft Tencent ownership of Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, as well as Rainbow Six. Now, if you haven't heard this news, Ubisoft plans to navigate its financial troubles by using its most valuable game series, Far Cry, Rainbow Six, Assassin's Creed. They're creating an entirely new business entity in which the Chinese tech giant Tencent is acting as a minority shareholder with a 25% stake. And the crazy thing about this is that subsidiary company, we don't know what the hell it's going to be called, if it's going to be like Ubisoft Tencent or whatever, it has a valuation of 4 billion euros, which for my American audience is around 4.3 billion US dollars. Could you imagine sitting on an absolute goldmine of IPs and you're having to open a new chapter in your history, according to Yves Guillemot, because you have completely fumbled the fucking bag? Tencent is injecting 1.25 billion into this subsidiary company, which holds a 25% minority stake. That's where the valuation is coming from on this company. And as I said, this new subsidiary will encompass all of the teams working on Rainbow Six, Assassin's Creed, as well as Far Cry, with studios located all over the world, including Montreal, Quebec, Barcelona, Sherbrooke. But what's weird is the way that this is structured. The new entity will not outright own the aforementioned brand trio. So a lot of people are worried that Tencent now owns Rainbow Six. They don't. Ubisoft will provide this subsidiary company with a worldwide exclusive, irrevocable, perpetual license in respect to the IPs and similar proprietary rights owned or licensable by Ubisoft. Essentially, that company owns nothing. They just handle and deal with all of the key assets, teams, IPs, and receive royalties and profits based on the sales of those IPs. And according to this deal, after a 2-year period, Ubisoft may no longer hold a majority of the new subsidiary's voting rights and share capital, ultimately implying that going forward, the studio might lose all influence over the direction of the 3 of its most important game series. And as pointed out by Level 80, they said here, this one clause with the 2-year period clause outlined in the announcement makes the entire deal appear to be nothing more than a Hail Mary designed exclusively to secure short-term investment at the expense of the franchises rather than ensuring the game series' long-term growth. And that's exactly what this is. This is Ubisoft, instead of going bankrupt, like that's how fucked this company is. Instead of going bankrupt, they're getting a huge cash injection and betting that they actually turn the shit around and steer the ship right, or Tencent or whoever else, most likely Tencent, is not necessarily going to own those IPs, but they would control the voting rights, the share capital, as well as all of the influence over the direction of those games, meaning they don't own them, but in 2 years' time, Ubisoft may lose all say in how Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Assassin's Creed, and Far Cry are actually handled at a base level, which depends on who you ask, it might be a good thing. I know a lot of my people in this community think Ubisoft has completely fucked over all of their major franchises, not even these 3. You talk about Splinter Cell, you talk about Beyond Good and Evil 2, like it's just any IP that Ubisoft, they fumbled the ball. And now the shitty thing is, as of this announcement, the Ubisoft stock is down 15% following its deal. So that price surge that they saw in October, it doesn't matter anymore. And because of that drop in share price, now you have Ubisoft employees that aren't working on these 3 franchises reaching out to guys like Insider Gaming saying they're really, really concerned about being laid off, because if the stock price drops for Ubisoft and they're hedging all of their bets on these 3 franchises, what happens to Splinter Cell? What happens to Ghost Recon? What happens to Beyond Good and Evil 2? What happens to all of these other studios? Here's the thing, man. I think the day of reckoning is coming soon. As much as it sucks, because again, they have a lot of franchises that I'm genuinely interested in. Ubisoft has gotten way too big for its own good. When I hear the words 18,000 employees, they're way too bloated to make anything of value. They have to appeal every game to the largest demographic ever, and when you make a game for everybody, you make a game for nobody. And that's what leads to these games being diluted year in and year out. Ubisoft is too fucking big. And in order to change that, people got to be fired, laid off. And it sucks because I think it's happening. I think by the end of the year, we're going to see a massive shift in Ubisoft's business strategy. In an internal email acquired by Insider Gaming, Ubisoft's Marie-Sophie Dewar, I know I'm gonna fucking butcher her name. She's essentially the chief studios and portfolio officer. She sent an email out after this announcement in which she said, "Hello everyone. I wanted to follow up immediately with all of you in Montreal, Quebec City, Sherbrooke, Barcelona, Sofia after Eve's email regarding the new business unit that is being created. First and foremost, I want to emphasize that the agreement we announced is a powerful enabler and an exciting opportunity for Ubisoft. It will help us accelerate our evolution and improve how we make games with greater focus and agility." That is corporate speak for we are locking in focus, agility. You can't be that when you are as bloated as you are. Anybody who is employed at Ubisoft should understand layoffs are coming. Tencent's investment is a strong testament to their trust in our ability to grow, and then she lists the 3 franchises. This is a direct result of the incredible work you've done making these franchises iconic. I also want to be clear, if you're not currently working on these brands, it doesn't mean your work matters any less. Guys, yes it does. If you're a Ubisoft employee, yes it does. Because if they actually found value in those IPs, they would have lumped that in and required Tencent to make a bigger investment, right? She goes on to say, this agreement will benefit all of Ubisoft, giving us the means to spark more innovation and creativity across the board. This marks the beginning of a new chapter, and you play a vital role in shaping it. Now here we go. In the coming weeks and months, we will work hard to build the best organization possible for Ubisoft, for our teams, and for our players. Now, corporate speak, in the coming weeks and months, they're going to build the best organization possible. And it's not a good sign when the first thing they list is for Ubisoft. Notice how the players are put third in that list, right? They're going to build the best organization possible for Ubisoft, for our teams, and for our players. Notice it's the order of who's going to be most important in this restructuring. Ubisoft. And I'm not going to lie, I do worry about what happens to the Splinter Cell remake, to the Ghost Recon sequel. What's going to happen with The Division? What's going to happen? I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be good. Let me know what you guys think down below of all of this Ubisoft drama. I think the Ubisoft employees that are worried about being laid off should absolutely be worried. There was one message in this Insider Gaming thing. Another employee who is currently working on an unannounced project says, "I want to think our team is okay right now, but we don't know." You'd think they'd at least have some sort of clarity for us before publicly announcing the deal. The fact that these teams weren't even notified that this is happening. Mark my words, the Ubisoft at the end of 2025 is not going to look and be the same as the Ubisoft we are seeing today. And we're going to be following this entire saga until we see what's going to be in the dust of Ubisoft of old. My name is Big Fry. Leave a like on the video, subscribe for more content just like this, and I'll see you on the next one.